Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wrestling in Mom's Basement. I am, of course, am Patrick Young, and this guy to my right is the reigning, defending, undisputed Talk YouTube champion, Joe Venuto.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
This is going to be the regularly scheduled podcast for now. And it's going to be separated in 3 parts. Part 1 will always be the Raw vs. Smackdown review. Part 2 will be NXT and 205 live review. And part 3 will be the main part with news and something like different and fun to do. Just a little schedule note here. From different what we said in the first video, the schedule will be on Fridays starting the first week of August.
Yes.
For the next couple weeks of July, it's going to be, I'll be posting daily during the week, as I've been doing this past week. It'll mainly be this week will be Monday night, you'll get past Battleground predictions.
Yeah, because I will actually be out of town for about a week starting Wednesday, so I won't be here for the normal Friday shows.
Then Thursday, we're supposed to have one of our friends come over and to do Battleground predictions with myself. And then Friday, I'll do the regular podcast during the day. And then the following week, the regular podcast will be uploaded on Thursday, the last week of July. July 27th, I believe that is. The last Thursday of July. It'll be uploaded that Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then starting the following week, everything will be back to normal until we get to Brooklyn, where you'll
have the special thing where we'll be actually there live.
We'll do the reviews those nights.
Yeah.
But Takeover
for Takeover
and SummerSlam, Raw, and Smackdown. That'll also be the same schedule in January too from the Royal Rumble. More than likely.
Yes.
Which is also in Philly if you want to go.
Travel packages will be available soon. We of course won't be selling them, but they'll be available soon on WWE's website. Something
I think okay. Moving on.
Back off that tangent.
So this is the Raw vs. Smackdown review podcast. It's going to be a little different. Not only dissect the show segment by segment, because you already know what happened. It's going to be more so talking about the main points, what we liked about each show, maybe something that was probably like the biggest booking mistake in each of our opinions. Not from each show, just the biggest booking mistake in general, if there was one, and who we each pick as better show of the week, and we do not know what the other's going to say.
No.
Right. Did you want to go first for Raw? All right, you'll go Smackdown.
Yes.
All right. I'll do Raw first. One of the main things I did like about Raw first was the start new stories on Raw this week. Because we're finally moving on, like for instance, from the Bray and Seth feud that was going on. But now I'm interested in is there going to be a Shield reunion with Dean and Seth at least for temporarily? The Intercontinental title play, or are they going to the Intercontinental title? Doesn't look it right now, but I'm not really sure his faces if they're not for the Intercontinental title. Cass and Big Show was an all new story. I actually liked the start more than I thought I would. I think Cass is actually coming into his own, surprisingly to me. I think he's going to have a tough uphill battle overall with Braun and Joe and people ahead of him like that. But right now he's doing fine. The revival on Hardys, of course. And Dallas Anderson getting a win.
That's surprising.
Right. That was all good too, so I'm not really sure where those stories were going. I also like the WWE Universal Championship picture. I do think that segment did sell for something that should be big for SummerSlam as well. And coming off the pay-per-view, I do think Raw does have a bit of momentum right now anyway. And my other favorite part of Raw I did like was the Who's Crying Will Talk to, because I am a sucker for mystery storylines. Hopefully they can pull this out with something creative and different. So, but I do gotta give it to Raw just to shake up that for the most part they have been entertained. So much like that.
What I liked about Raw, I did like I'll actually start with my favorite match that that I saw because I only saw the Hulu version.
Which mine was by one of the cruiserweight tag.
Yes. Barring from that, my favorite match was probably Seth and Bray. It's probably the match they should have had on
Great Balls of
Great
Fire.
Balls of Fire. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
I also like the standoff, which teased Joe or Brock or Roman and Brock. I love the standoff with all three of them, and I'm really excited about next week for Joe versus Roman again. I also did like the Hardys and the Revival mixed in with the match with
Gallows Anderson.
with Anderson and Gallows. So I'm trying to figure out where to go next with this.
Tag teams.
Thank you. The tag team division. I'll get into the negatives later about not having the champs there or setting up something with that.
Right.
But I did think that there's a nice option there for having a secondary storyline in the tag division to show some depth where it may be actually be lacking. I also like the Dean and Seth. They're teasing a Shield reunion, and
Yeah, that works.
yeah, it's A-OK in my book.
And was that it for Raw? SmackDown?
Yes.
For SmackDown this week, one of the things I did like, it wasn't my favorite part of the show, but one of the things I did like was if Jinder finally got a clean win over someone. Of course, it should probably be somebody more credible, like an AJ or Orton in recent months. Not saying it should be AJ now, because AJ's United States champ, but it was nice to get a clean win over someone that's popular. Because I don't want to say it's bombed fully, but I will say I don't think Jinder has been a real success either as champ, because he doesn't feel like the top heel. A lot of that has to do where he's placed on the shows, like he's not normally in the main event segment until like the go home show. Like he'll probably be this week because they're bringing the Punjab prison to SmackDown, and his matches are normally placed opener or middle of the card. He's not doing stuff that favors though, because he's not really an evolving character.
He's not put in a spot to where he should look like a main eventer, where he
Yeah.
should come on last.
And not that his wrestling is bad, but I do find his wrestling to be a little generic compared to the roster nowadays. But the in-ring work is the best part of the roster. So, like, that's something he needs to work on. And they need to give him better material to work with on his character. But I did like the fact that he got a solid clean win for a change this week.
That is also a thumbs up in my book.
I don't think that will help, though. It also depends on how he's booked against Orton, though, at Battleground.
Yeah.
Of course, so. My favorite part of SmackDown is the United States. Well, woman's favorite part is the United States title picture. And this is where no problem comes in with Jinder, not so much Orton. Because right now the main event scene kind of feels like it's Jinder, Orton, Nakamura, and Corbin right under, which is fine. But it's more so Jinder's the champ, and you got people like AJ, Cena, Owens, and Rusev in the United States title picture. It seems a little backwards, but it's doing a lot of wonders for the U.S. belt since being moved to SmackDown. I don't have a problem with Maven holding the belt, but I do have a problem with somebody that was a career jobber being WWE champ. And then somebody like Owens is in the United States title picture while Jinder's main eventing, where Jinder's pretty much guaranteed a spot at SummerSlam. And for SmackDown this week, it doesn't look like AJ and Owens is going to continue past Battleground. It looks like they're going with AJ and Cena 4, I think. Not going to play yet, I'm just saying Jinder shouldn't be the champ in that case. The roster's too stacked right now, they give a career jobber the main title.
Yes.
But I do like the United States title picture with AJ, Cena, Owens, and Rusev, even if I do find the Rusev-Cena storyline a little too basic. Because I thought Rusev had more interesting character right to shake up. But I do enjoy the four of them this week together. And that probably was the strongest match in the week. In terms of the actual story that was going on. And the other thing I liked was the Runway Walker Texas Rangers. Which I actually don't want them to solve the mystery of Tom versus Attack Dad anytime soon, because I hope they don't solve the fashion files or whatever they're doing now, the mockery TV shows, because the storyline itself has legs. You know, I'm thinking it's summer at this point, which is fine with me, because she does got legs, and the storyline has legs.
Speaking of legs,
right? But overall, they've arguably been the best part of WTV for the last couple months since they've been doing these. So I'm hoping they don't end anytime soon. Oh, what my fault, I know they was the Nakamura quarter feud too. I did enjoy it. On SmackDown, they're Raw. I'm so to that match at Battleground too.
I'll start with your last point. I also like the Nakamura Corbin stuff. It's better than just having Nakamura go out there, cut a promo in English. I know it's not saying that English being your second language is a problem. That's not the case at all. But when you're trying to get over on an English-speaking audience,
less is more in his case.
Yeah, especially with him, he has charisma that adds to his mystique.
Yeah,
he doesn't need to talk in promos where it's sort of not as easier to understand him and his points he's trying to get across. So I do like that instead of throwing him in promos in a language he's still learning, that they're just letting them handle it physically. That's the thumbs up for me. Probably my favorite stuff of the week has been, for SmackDown, has been the United States title stuff. Just the tease of AJ and Cena is a plus in my book. I would happily see that match again, no matter how many times. It seems like they had the chemistry where they could probably go on 100 times and actually still pull on a fantastic match.
Yes.
Rusev, he probably can go in a different direction with his character. I don't think he needs to be the foreign anti-American heel.
Not when Jinder's doing the same gimmick.
Yes. To be fair, I don't think Jinder needs to be doing it either.
Right.
But this week I thought the match with Rusev's match with along with Kevin Owens and against Cena and AJ was the best on SmackDown. Again, I also did like the Fashion Files. It's usually the most entertaining stuff they put on SmackDown. And yeah, my idea is that the only person I can honestly think of that would be attacking Tyler Breeze is Summer Rae. I originally thought maybe American Alphas, but they're using Gable way too much to be a heel.
Yeah.
And at this point, I can't really think of anybody else. So it has to be Summer Rae, because that, and she's not really doing anything. From what I've seen, she's taking photo shoots or whatever. And if that's the career she go in, that's fine. But if you're going to use her, that they're not using her at all. She's not even attending the tapings, from what I've seen. No, I haven't seen that in a couple weeks. Let's see, other stuff I like from SmackDown. I also did like the continuation, the Power of Love and Sami Zayn stuff. It's nice to you see the viciousness from them actually, but there's still campiness and over the top, and Sammy he's relatable. And yes, Maria's appearance also does help in those situations. And I think that was about it from what I truly liked about SmackDown this week.
For me, the biggest mistake booking-wise from either show this week, is something both shows are guilty of, is the use of the women's division on both shows. And I wasn't even going to roll credit like Great Balls of Fire, too, because it looked like they actually had stuff on their hands with Alexa and Sasha, since there's some sort of heat there in real life between the two. And they played it off the angle good, the Great Balls of Fire. But now on Monday, it seems like they had not get every woman involved, but the 4 main women on the roster are involved. And now we're back to Bayley back in the title picture after not being rehabbed nearly enough. just being booked like a complete moron. And Nia, who has some of the worst on again, off-again booking I've seen on the main roster in the past year. It just feels like not for everybody in the match together. When they actually did have a personal feud set up after Sunday's pay-per-view, nobody's as guilty as much as for a woman to go to SmackDown's business and shake-up. Before the shake-up after the draft last year, SmackDown did use every woman, which is fine, which is great, but they each had their own separate stories between the 6-7 women they had on the roster. Now it's just everybody doesn't fight Naomi. Carmella prances with a briefcase, and how many times can somebody make Lana look like a joke weekly? Laugh at her. Which of course leads to the Fatal 5-Way. Next week, next Sunday, yeah. Really, I never thought to say this, I really don't know how much I'm praying that Nikki Bella comes back and wins the match. It's like a last-minute entrant, and there's the fifth person gets eliminated. If she comes down and discus elbows somebody. To help the division, give us some star power. And the book of that division has made Naomi just feel like a weak champ, because all she's done is beat Lana 3 times. Do I do for Naomi and Charlotte do have some potential, but at this point I just want the belt on somebody to care about. And as I'm trying to disrespect Naomi, but Charlotte seems to be the person that obviously should lead the division, which should eventually lead to Asuka. Ellen Roll, as though it was to repeat with the same 4 women. So both shows are guilty of having a similar mistake this week for me.
Yeah, recently I've actually really hard on the women's division. Admittedly, maybe they're not doing as bad as I thought they did, but this week it honestly felt like what he said. Like I felt like it was just okay. Women need to be on the show, so tag match.
Which, by the way, was both matches for the women on both shows.
Exactly.
The same time match that we've seen, I think, enough of.
There really doesn't seem to be much of thought process into individual stories. Alexa and Sasha could have gone somewhere at Great Balls of Fire with that beatdown, which I thought was spectacular.
Yeah.
But they ended up having Bayley pin Alexa.
There's at least a triple threat on Horizon.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised to see Fatal 4.
Yeah.
That's for your opinion.
Yeah. Mention Alexa, his thing goes off. And this week on SmackDown, it sort of seems like, okay, let's do the same exact thing, but market it for a match on pay-per-view. And go, okay, number 1 contenders match. Meanwhile, the champion doesn't actually have a match on pay-per-view.
Which isn't the first time.
Yeah.
That's happened.
She doesn't have a match on pay-per-view. She's actually not in it. She actually isn't scheduled for a match, period, for Battleground, as of right now, of course.
Because right now, nobody else wants Carmella besides she's catching it.
Yeah. Or, as part of the storyline next week, they rush Summer Rae to television.
Which, even if she's technically on Raw,
yeah.
I don't know.
And that's pure speculation on my part.
Yeah, women's division should be on 1 show. Yes.
And it just seems like there's no... As much as they're saying a women's revolution, Mae Young Classic, there doesn't seem to be a thought process for the women. And that is...
On the main roster.
On the main roster. NXT's fantastic, usually with women.
And so is the Mae Young Classic.
And so is the Mae Young Classic, because that type of stuff, you don't necessarily need a storyline, but it sometimes helps. But again, getting back to them, there's not really like a minute thought process of a feud for individual feuds. It just seems like, let's throw all these women on pay-per-view and see what happens.
And I'm actually hard on SmackDown with their woman, because SmackDown actually had a grab on your woman up until like WrestleMania season this year.
Yeah, for SmackDown,
I'm hard on.
It doesn't seem like they can get away from it for some reason, whatever.
Right, because like Raw, I'm not surprised booking the woman Bayley, because last year was just a Charlotte and Sasha show, which I'll happily take back.
Yeah.
And they didn't care about nobody else, and that's what they're doing now. Except 2 people, they they care about 4 people now.
Yeah.
If you call caring, I call booking big, but they care about 4. That to put on TV weekly. With SmackDown, though, they always have been using older women in the draft. It's just they've used them as separate stories. Where at one point it was like Becky and Alexa, last year's TLC, exactly. Becky and Bliss.
I'm sorry you are not feeling well. Try having a cup of tea or taking a nap. I hope you feel better soon.
I think you gotta start referring to her as Bliss.
Becky and Bliss, Nikki and Carmella, and it was then like to Natalia and Nikki and stuff like that. Compared to now, where it's just each woman is. It seems like the tag teams became a bigger priority on SmackDown than the woman. Which the tag team should have been was SmackDown's main problem going into the shakeup, but now it seems like the woman went to the wayside. That's why I'm hard on them.
Yeah. Are there other things you didn't like?
No, really, it was just the woman. Like things I actually straight out hated.
Yeah.
There were things I didn't care for, but it's nothing that really put against the show.
I understand why they weren't on the show, while they weren't prepped for a match, but I think they should at least had a promo to at least say like, "Hey, Sheamus and Cesaro also went through a hell of a fight too,"
Right? Yeah.
and they ended up coming out on top of the Hardys.
Right.
I just wanted to see like at least a little something like a backstage promo teasing like who their SummerSlam opponents could be.
Okay. Yeah, and anything else, SmackDown's just not covered it between the two of us, and anything else on Raw, the Raw was offensive. Like the fans, lies, called the truth didn't do much for me, but didn't hurt the show either. My best I could say about the format was Goldust Warriors Week. No. And Finn did the lead taunt with the Hearts. That'll be nice. I guess now we'll do our winners for me this week. From an overall quality standpoint, I will say SmackDown does still won handily in terms of show being in order and all. With that being said, since we're going to SummerSlam, you need a little bit more SmackDown's on the background, but you can pull them in the middle of SummerSlam build too because it's rural.
Yes, Raw's going to
SmackDown's got the background. That's the problem with these two pay-per-views a month schedule. One's always going to be ahead of the other. Building. I do think the fans should have a bit more than just a solid show, which SmackDown has been. So, if it was just based on quality, SmackDown would probably win in terms of everything that flowed and all. But overall, when there's a Raw, because right now, it feels like Raw, at least this week, had the bigger storylines with the Angle Mystery, the Universal Championship picture, and some I did forget to mention on Raw, the Hardys teasing the broken gimmick. I'm not sure how I forgot about that. I'll call that more part 3 when we do the news, though. So I am giving it to Raw this week because I felt their storylines are still something I remember standing out. Mine's just a few from SmackDown. That's not taking nothing away from SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was the better show in terms of quality, but in terms of what we're building towards SummerSlam, I hate to say that Battleground's not important. It feels like Raw's actually set up some big stuff that could be great when it happens. So I'll give the Raw this week.
As much as it looks like I'm tagging along with you, I actually agree 100% with what you said. I think overall, the consistency of SmackDown was very good. However, I think...
Well, it's helping Raw's going to build a SummerSlam. So
yeah.
They're in big... Now, that's not saying 2 weeks SmackDown can't get there, because they're going to have to build. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
But I still think that Raw had the bigger moment to where I think it overpowered the consistency of SmackDown. And when I actually think the best stuff from this week was on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that what actually pushes it over SmackDown.
Yeah, and I feel like, this is the first time I've said this about Raw either, I do feel like Raw has been consistent with that the last few weeks in terms of getting their stories together. Like I said, with the Angle Mystery, the tease of the triple threat between, or who Brock's fighting rather, which I do think is going to end up being Fatal 4-Way with Braun involved. The Cass and Enzo stuff down the Cass and Big Show. The Dean's mistrust of Seth. The Hardys broken, like all that was enough that's going to be remembered in terms of memorability segments. Which is more important to remember than just matches. I do think SmackDown will be in big match mode. That'll come 2 weeks once SummerSlam the SummerSlam build has to roll around. Because at that point, I believe SmackDown only has 3 weeks to build.
Yeah.
4 weeks. I want to say 3. Wait, hold on. July 23rd. 4 weeks. Yeah, they have 4 weeks of build. Yeah, so. But I do think Roll does feel like it's his SummerSlam move right now. That's why I'm giving the edge to Roll this week. And like I did right, SmackDown may be more consistent with their shows and their household names and the quality, but the Roll stories just feel more important right now. That's why I'm giving the Roll. That Roll's big storyline's bomb this week. SmackDown can easily take it. That's how close the 2 shows are. I'm just happy we got 2 quality shows right now. It's not like the draft.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap this up, since it's going to be the last time we talk about Raw this week until Monday after Raw.
Right.
What do you think is the storyline with Angle? And who do you think he's talking to?
Stephanie. As I posted in the video earlier this week. I do think it's Stephanie.
Your opinions haven't changed at all.
Well, my opinions haven't changed, but there is a news story that did break earlier today from Eric Bischoff that will be covering in the news video later. In about 2 hours, about an hour and a half, 2 hours, when we upload that you can see. But I'll leave it at that. I do think it's Stephanie though, because I'm not really sure who else it could be. I thought it was Chad Gable was his son, maybe, and legitimate son, but they bucked down on YouTube, so I'm going with Stephanie. But I won't be surprised just for the sake of my doubt factor, maybe somebody else.
Yeah. As the rumored match of Kurt Angle and Triple H go, I think it would have to be Stephanie.
Right.
However, I'm not sure
what the story is.
What the story would be.
Just because he said I love you doesn't mean he's in fear. I think that's what they want to believe.
Yeah.
You can love anything. That doesn't mean he's in fear, but I think that's the track he wants to go with.
No matter if they do something to throw us off of that, I think it's probably is some way or shape or form going to end up being Triple H versus Angle.
Which I'm fine with for some stuff.
Yes.
Because I am interested where they take it. Just with one other name roaming around, and we'll see there, and which we'll get to in 2 parts. It might be more than it might not be what we're thinking right now.
Right.
So that's it. This will be uploaded. This will be uploaded in a few minutes. But the next video will be uploaded in a few minutes. Let me rephrase that, 9 hour. This is obviously uploaded now, since you watch it. But that being said, thanks. I do want to say thank you for the. We had over 300 views this week with our videos.
Yeah, which is incredible. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll be back in a couple of hours with the NXT review and at 205 Live and the news.
And meanwhile, you can hit the subscribe button on our channel so you can subscribe to get all of our videos right in your notifications.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, down in the description, you can follow him on Twitter at the Pat Young 215.
And you can follow him at the Joe Venuto 215.
And the podcast at WrestleIMB. See you in a little bit.
Thank you.